I hope Doran is not freaking trolling me again. Here it is. Doran the Truth Teller. Scarlet Crusade summons the Light Army to Azeroth. Now, this was interesting. The Light was very much involved in the entire retaking of Gilneas. The Scarlet Crusade was using it in a way we had never seen it before. Let's see if Doran's figured out what the Light is. What's going on with the Light in the Scarlet Crusade here?
It looks like the fanatical side of the Light is still happening. It's not all sunshine and roses. New 10.2.5 quests show the Scarlet Crusade turning into gigantic light monstrosities and proclaiming that the Light will purge our stain from the world, but it also hints that they will return in midnight. It seems like the Light will split into the good and the fanatical side. We could see the Scarlet Crusade facilitating the Light invasion by getting Yrel and potentially these new Arati humans that could be their allies.
The last person that we saw use the Light in a fanatical and kind of evil way was Yrel. That's who I thought of when we were doing the whole Scarlet Crusade thing. And I think we're starting to realize that maybe we're going to see the all-good Light or the flaming Light, you know, this new flaming Light. We're going to see it in Hallowfall. We're going to see like what the true Light is all about. And we're also going to find that the Light doesn't have to be all good. That maybe if the wielder is bad, the Light can be used in a bad way.
Remember, Avaloran, which
we're going to learn a lot about the Light, I think, in
the Scarlet
Hallowfall.
Crusade New Avalon. There could actually be a connection. Even more interestingly, Lothraxion is still an agent of Denatrius. He could be creating this divide, which will in turn weaken the Light, the Void, and us all in one go, as all-out conflict breaks out in midnight. So, what is all this new info, and what is even going on? Nothing can ruin your game like bad lag, but LegoFast, this video sponsor, is the perfect solution. Not only can you improve your ping and FPS in WoW, but it also offers you the best add-ons to use for Season of Discovery, and the app is compatible with PC and consoles and a whole bunch of games. Check out LegoFast completely free with my link below.
There you go.
So the 10.2.5 is out, and we have some incredibly interesting new information that seems 100% like a setup for Midnight in the big Light versus Void battle that might even start out in the War Within. So Reclamation of Gilneas is finally out. Previously I've talked about this, we could only data mine it.
I'll be honest, it was kind of a letdown. I was hoping to see some kind of cool lore reveal or something. I feel like the Scarlet Crusade kind of just got stepped on a little bit. I love the Scarlet Crusade. I think they're pretty cool. In terms of lore and everything. Scarlet Monastery, probably one of my favorite dungeons of all time. I don't know, I feel like they kind of just they brought them up, they've made all this progress, they took Gilneas, and then we kind of just, you know, face stomped them, and they tried to use the Light a lot, and that didn't really work against us. We fought a giant light creature, and that was it. They were done. I was hoping for some kind of, like, Dreadlord reveal. You know, maybe it's overused, overplayed, but I love that stuff. And maybe Sire Denathrius at some point, or we hear his voice. I thought that kind of stuff would have been cool, but really there was no big lore reveal. It was just kind of like, yeah, they're using the Light in an interesting way. And here's Gilneas, you got it back, good job.
But now all the encrypted parts are out, so a lot of things have been cleared up, and we know what is going on, and long story short, it's not really
and of course the passing of the torch happened.
Quite short, and unfortunately, it looks like Gilneas is neutral, which, in my opinion, is a real shame. I mean, I understand the entire faction conflict stuff, but Gilneas was like the one zone I would not make neutral because of its history. Regardless, in the midst of this, we got a big Light hint for the Light invasion speculation we've had for the past like 8 years.
What's up, Dark?
The Scarlet Crusade has been surprisingly used quite a bit all throughout Dragonflight, not just with the story, but we also had a lot of their motives and their armor sets everywhere these past like 2 years. Unfortunately, most of it was just one-dimensional fodder type
look,
use.
I feel like we got so excited when we started seeing the new armor sets for the Scarlet Crusade and everything. They brought them back. We slaughtered them in the Undead Heritage Armor questline, and then we slaughtered them in the retaking of Gilneas. Like, they did nothing interesting. They were kind of just used as, like, you know, oh, the Scarlet Crusade, that's a cool name. Maybe people want to come back for that, and then we just kill them. I don't know.
But the new hints from 10.2.5 makes it seem like this is only a setup and that this is not their actual ultimate goal. So, what I find confusing is how the hell did a Scarlet Crusade that was small to begin with and destroyed like 12 times in the past manage to invade like the entirety of the northern eastern kingdoms? And
otherwise they kind of just
like the answer could be in the Light. I mean, first they launched a pretty big invasion of Forsaken that we played through, and we've dealt with the main part of the Force. However, it appears from this new questline that when the Forsaken troops withdrew from Gilneas, as Kellia promised back at the end of Shadowlands, to again, before the 3-year time skip. At that point, the Scarlet Crusade had settled in the remains of the fallen human kingdom. How this happened hasn't exactly been explained. I mean, to me, it doesn't really make all that much sense. Could they just pass down through all this territory, no one noticed them amassing? And the Vorgan specifically...
I mean, I guess the undead left, so the Scarlet Crusade kind of just found their way in. It was a more like an abandoned city. I wonder if there were still any cursed Worgen there, like Ravage Worgen, that they had to fight through. Because they didn't seem like that strong of a force when we got there.
Didn't stop them before they made a stronghold, but that isn't really the point of the video. As I said, the Scarlet Crusade here is just fodder, an element to create some type of adversity that is not faction conflict, but the real info is, as I said, in the new light hints that is foreshadowing for the World Soul Saga. So the leader of the Glass expedition is called the Inquisitor Fairbell, and this
she's interesting. She transformed.
Like such a huge foreshadowing. Her actual description says she is the leader in Gilneas, and then it says this probably won't be the last we see of the Crusade. However, the real deal
so they
is
will
when
come
we
back.
actually face her, we fight her,
That
and
answers your
just
question,
as we're
King
about to
Jewel.
defeat her, she transforms into a massive light elemental monstrosity called the Hallowed Monstrosity, which is...
I wonder if, Hallow Fall, Hallowed Monstrosity, this hallowed stuff has anything to do... I mean, it must be light related. We keep seeing this term pop up.
Called the Hallowed Monstrosity, which is not actually something the light tends to do, and she says the light will purge your infectious stain from this world.
Yeah,
now,
she says some
you
crazy
might think
shit
this is
while
just
she's fighting
Scarlet
us.
Crusade, like fanatic jargon, and that this is minor, but let me tell you why I don't think this is the case. First of all, we got a lot of other light setup hints that come together with this. We have the confirmed involvement of the light in the battle against the Void in Midnight, as Chris Metzen said, which is, as suggested, going to be like the final battle of these two forces. We also have the entire storyline that is going to happen in the War Within with those light fanatical Arati humans, the Light Crystal, and their undiscovered kingdom, whose main capital may be on Evaloran, and surprisingly, the Scarlet Crusade settlement is called New Avalon. Finally, we know that the Void invasion is going to happen through the Sunwell, which is essentially powered by a light Naru, and the light and the Void, as we know, are intrinsically connected. However, you may be thinking, like, where does the Scarlet Crusade fit in here? My personal guess is that we are going to discover two sides of the light, the good and the bad. Previously, at the start of World of Warcraft, the light was like this amazing force. Then it got super gray and maybe even black. We thought it was just as evil as the Void. And then, recently, Chris Metzen said how we will fight with the forces with light, making them seem good again. But I think the answer...
He did. Chris Metzen's stuff that he said at BlizzCon was very interesting, because up until then we hadn't talked about the light being really a force of good anymore. We just talked about it being a force. But then Chris Metzen, out of his mouth, said, we will, ban with the forces of the light and banish the forces of shadow forever, or void. That, like, he made it very evident that we were going to be on the side of the light, which made us think, oh, are they all good again?
Is in
Looks
the
like
middle.
there's
I think
two
there are
kinds
two
of light.
sides of it. There is the side that resurrects, that heals, and even defeats the Lich King, and then there is the side that tries to take over Illidan by force, that invaded the Shadowlands, that might have even attacked Azeroth with a shard in Castlegar. As I said, that could be a remnant of a Naru invasion. You may also remember the #1 light bad force, and that is Yrel and her fanatical light army that essentially took over the entire planet of alternate Draenor. They enslaved everyone and drove it to near destruction. That, as far as we know, there is just a light army waiting behind the portal to invade as their world is falling apart. Now, the recent transformation of the Inquisitor shows us that they're wielding this bad side of the light, the fanatical one, as is obviously natural for the Scarlet Crusade. She transforms into a monstrosity, a giant offensive light being, and as she proclaims, the light will purge our stain from the world, with very similar wording to how the Titans had stained the world, how the old gods had stained the world, as in light also lays the claim on Azeroth. The wording here is critical when you look at it. My guess...
Wait. The light will purge your infectious stain from this world. So this type of light is probably seeing us as void, void aligned or void related. She probably sees the curse of flesh as a stain. Like once we were cursed, we became a stain upon this world. So that's the way I read this stuff. It's very fanatical and making us seem like we are more void aligned than light.
critical when you look at it. My guess is that the Scarlet Crusade is not going to be some major force in Midnight, and that all these actions have been a part of a grand plan involving the light. I kind of see them as Kel'Thuzad, his mission back in Warcraft 3 to like set the ground up to get the powers in order to lay the foundation for the Legion invasion, as Kel'Thuzad did. I think the Scarlet Crusade is dabbling in these types of powers. They want to open the evil light portal and to let light cleanse this world. I would say they mainly failed in securing the territory, but some parts still remain regardless. Now, let's look at a few really interesting hints. We still don't know if new light humans are good or bad in Khazlagar, but we know for certain they're light fanatics. Blizzard actually called them the Uber Paladins. They came from an undiscovered human kingdom that used to be a part of the
Hallowfall Paladins
Empire,
are very
and they're
interesting.
possibly on Avaloran, the land we're yet to see, and they landed in Khazlagar as they heard about the falling star. Personally, I think the star could be a sign of a light invasion of Azeroth.
Now that we've seen, they describe it as a falling star, and we've seen this crystal that fell from the sky in SOD, right, in Season of Discovery, and Xal'atath is standing right next to it. This crystal's got I don't know if it's a piece of Anaru. It's not the tip of the sword, we know that, but it's a light-related entity, right? And these Hallowfall Paladins who can use this flaming light, this new kind of light, they evidently saw it coming. Right, they had a dream about it, and that's why they went to Hallowfall. They left the Arathi. They are original Arathi humans who came down to Hallowfall because of this light that basically whispered to them in their dreams. So this whole thing, this is where the light lore is going to really get fleshed out, and that's why I'm most excited for this zone.
Especially as it is so close to the heart of Azeroth, and these guys might have come here to support the invasion, but the invasion kind of failed, and now they're stuck in the zone. Now, what is really interesting, and keep in mind, this could entirely be a coincidence, but the Scarlet Crusade has their main city, New Avalon, and the other zone is called Avaloran. Avaloran is, as was said by the documents, somewhere across the sea.
The other continent.
East of the Eastern Kingdoms, it could be west of Kalimdor, but what I also find intriguing is that New Avalon is also next to a shore. What is interesting is that the Scarlet Crusade are light fanatics. The new Arathi humans we learned about are also light fanatics.
Yep,
could they start working together? Had they worked together already?
I don't think they're working together. I definitely think they are opposing forces of the light. One good and one bad.
Even gave these powers to the Scarlet Crusade. I don't know, it could 100% actually be a coincidence, but it could be
and in my opinion, I bet you there could be a battle between the two. It would be cool, like an all-out light battle. And the Hallowfall Paladins are going to win, proving that this flaming light is closer to the true power of the light than this, twisted evil light. And they're just going to beat the shit out of the Scarlet Crusade. That's probably I could imagine it playing out that way.
Interesting story point. If the light humans turn out to be bad, they could use the Scarlet Crusade as like a link on the continent to invade the Eastern Kingdoms, and then they would be the main force, these new humans, as well as the alternate Draenor fanatics led by Yrel in the Army of the Light. Another interesting hint we always have is those old Scarlet Crusade pamphlets. Remember, they apparently have the child of Kalia Manatil, and Kalia Manatil is like this weird light undead that could also be a connection to this.
Yeah, that's right. Kalia is a light
undead. Don't get me wrong.
All
of these are kind of scattered hints all over the place. I don't think the light is going to be as bad as the Void and the Void Invasion, but what I could see happening is this. The light despises, like they absolutely despises the Void, so when this straight out invasion happens of the Void, the fanatics may decide to invade as well, but they're so fanatical that they don't care about us or Azeroth. They just want to get rid of the Void. They want to wipe them out, kind of similar to Titans and their Order. Then the good side of the light is going to come through Kalia Manatil, maybe Turelian, and we're going to team up like
I don't know, man. Turelian might be on the fanatical side, I'm not gonna lie. Turelian's interesting, and like I said, we had that whole stay a while and listen between Matthias Shaw and Greymane. So Greymane and Matthias Shaw have the conversation about how they found Anduin, and then Matthias Shaw says, "Should I tell Turelian?" And King Greymane's like, "No, not yet. Let's wait until we know more. Let's keep this between us." And I feel like that's a hint at like maybe the other leaders of the Alliance don't really trust Turelian. Like, they think he might be a bit fanatical. Another interesting one was the fact that the Drakthir, the two that were talking, one of them mentions that Turelian seems to like them because they are such well-trained soldiers. Remember, Turelian fought a freaking 1,000 years war. The war is all he knows. So it wouldn't be surprising if he's like this fanatical, warmongering king. and he could become part of the bad side of the light. We'll have to wait and see.
Light to defeat both the Void and the Light Fanatics, and a big split could be happening here. Furthermore, they have been setting things up with the Crusade and the Worgen and the Undead. The Worgen and the Undead are, by the Scarlet Crusade standards, monsters, unnatural, people that need to be purged. But now, they're kind of friendly, they teamed up, they got their territories back, they're building back up, they're going to build almost completely by midnight. Now, this could be a stretch, but I could totally see this happening, as Blizzard just loves these like cheesy, feel-good storylines. So imagine Light Kalia leading these imperfect monsters on the good side of the light, while the pure Light Fanatics are on the opposite side. They want to destroy everything.
I wonder how Terrellian feels about Kalia. I wonder how he feels about her. He probably feels like this is messed up. An undead, light person. I want to see them interact with each other. I think that'll tell us a lot about what Terrellian actually thinks.
Cosmological force that it is. Furthermore, another interesting possibility is that we still have Lotraxion. Remember, back in Shadowlands, we learned that Atria's got a really good integrated light agent, which is almost certainly Lotraxion.
Yeah, it's gotta be
the guy
Lotraxion.
literally became a light being. I could totally 100% see this guy leading this fanatical side, and it even fits.
He might have been the one who created them.
I mean, remember how a Dreadlord before took over them, which is what turned them into such an evil force? Well, I could see Lotraxion creating a divide here with the light in order to weaken both the light, us, and the void in this scenario, and to empower his master. I mean, it is exactly what a Dreadlord would do. Now, of course, there's too early to say, but it does seem like the Scarlet Crusade storyline here is just a setup, and that they still got a role to play on this continent in WoW Midnight. Thanks for watching. Check out the upcoming hero specs by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on ancient Greek colonies in Spain by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, no, very, very cool video, and I do think the whole Lothraxian thing, that's definitely going to come to fruition. Maybe that their whole play, the Dreadlord play, is to kind of weaken the light side by creating like an imperfect or untrue version of the light. Because they know like the true version, like the Hallowfall version, or these flaming paladins, is a force to be reckoned with. But this fanatical Scarlet Crusade version, that version can be defeated by the Void easily. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.